Welcome to another Retro Shelf video. This is a book that I got for Christmas 2024, and as you can see it's From Pinballs to Pixels, an arcade history of Williams-Bally-Midway by Ken Horowitz. From early classics like Contact to marvels like High Speed, gaming publisher Williams dazzled arcade goers with its diverse range of quality pinball games. The age of video games catapulted the company into legend, with blockbusters like Defender and Joust, and by the end of the 1980s it was the largest coin-op publisher in North America. Williams' acquisition of Bally and Midway began a period of hits that include Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam, as well as the best-selling pinball machine of all time, the Addams Family. The history of Williams spans nearly 6 decades and is filled with great games, huge gambles and technical innovations that impacted every aspect of pinball and arcade video games. With interviews of 40-plus former designers and executives from Williams-Bally-Midway, as well as information from hundreds of contemporaneous news reports and documents, this book presents a never-before-seen chronology of how the small company became a coin-op juggernaut. Ken Horowitz is a professor of English and has written about Sega and video games for over a decade. He lives in Puerto Rico. So, this was a very interesting book to me. I do enjoy the pinball games. Big fan of the Pinball Arcade app, which I had on iOS. You see a table of contents. More Than Just Marbles and Pins, the edition of Pinball, When Harry Met Sammy, Winds of Change blew through Chicago, and then you can see it highlights individual tables, so Gorgar, December 1989, A Solid State of Affairs, Welcome to the Video Age, Heroes of the Golden Age, Crashed But Not Burned, It's Always Darkest, A New Dawn, A Rose by Another Name Still Makes Games, License to Thrill, A New Golden Age, The Candle That Burns Twice as Bright, The End is the Beginning is the End, A Skill Shot for the New Millennium, No Credit, No Continue, One Last Round at the Arcade, A Legacy Worth Preserving. So there is a large section of chapter notes and other references. Did notice my good friend Paul Drury from Retro Game mentioned in there, and the index. So preface, and as you can see, it's quite densely packed with text, including images. So there's photos predominantly, and it's good to see it credited. Handshake in Space, Inspired a Table, Barrett Osler, Eugene Jarvis, Steve Ritchie. Interviewed him for Games TM magazine a while ago. Brand new Firepower tables there. Mike Strong and Steve Kordek. Well, the legendary names here: Steve Kordek, Steve Ritchie, and Larry DeMar. Test Black Knight. So then onto a section about the classic Defender. There's Sam Dicker, Replay Magazine. Defender sold over 60,000 units. Eugene Jarvis and Larry DeMar. So as you can see, fantastic game. It includes also details about some of the unreleased games along the way. It doesn't cover every game from Williams-Bally-Midway, that would be impossible, but it does go deep into the development of certain key games. Moon Patrol, one they licensed for America. Scott Tamura on there. Defender Pinball, Unusual Cross Sinistar. Interesting pieces about that development and how it changed. Joust Pinball Blaster. The FMV video Laserdisc game. There you go. Star Rider. It's Always Darkest. Space Shuttle. Brilliant table, that. A New Dawn with Sorcerer. Mark Ritchie there. Pinbot. Fantastic design Pinbot. Very clever how it comes to life. F-14 Tomcat from Steve Ritchie. It's Roger Sharp. Key figures. Steve Kordek. Pat Lawler. Taxi from Mark Ritchie. Very enjoyable game, that. Narc, where Williams started to use the video digitization. Brian Collin, and he was created Rampage. Moved over from Bally to Midway. Cassandra Peterson as Elvira with the Party Monsters table. Smash TV in development. There's the Boss. Pigskin 621 AD. You could send off for a player's guidebook. Sketches for Funhouse. Artist John Usey's son Charlie serving as the model for Rudy. High Impact Football. The Machine, Bride of Pinball. Great table. Terminator 2 Judgment Day Pinball. King Richie there. And then obviously the arcade game as well, which was a light gun game. Total Carnage for Mark Tamel. Sketches for The Thing on the Addams Family table. Fish Tales, which is great fun. Really enjoyed reading about that one. Mortal Kombat, which obviously has had its own books and documentaries. And Whitewater, another table. I found it quite tricky when I played it for real, but it's good fun. Bigfoot on the Table. Twilight Zone there by Larry DeMar and Pat Lawler. Interesting idea. License then. A piece about NBA Jam, although of course there's been a separate and a brilliant book all about NBA Jam. Talks about Tim Kitzrow's vocals, Revolution X featuring Aerosmith, the unreleased Pinball Circus, which who knows, we may actually see someday. Indiana Jones, The Pinball Adventure, Star Trek The Next Generation. This is the game I interviewed Steve Ritchie about. Interesting here behind the scenes. He talks about the recording the voices in there. Cruising USA from what became Raw Thrills, the spin-off company with Eugene Jarvis. Williams shoots the extra ball. The end is the beginning is the end. Tells the Arabian Nights, another good design. War Gods, 3D fighting game, which wasn't particularly successful. Power Up Baseball, didn't do as well as NBA Jam. Medieval Madness, another great fun pinball game. And Monster Bash as well, really enjoy that one. And then it talks about Pinball 2000 and how they wanted to have a sort of generalised layout and interact between the LCD screen and the actual pinball table. So there's the Holopin prototype, which led to Star Wars Episode 1 Pinball and Revenge from Mars. No credit, no continue. Running out of money, the closing down. One last round at the arcade with Hydro Thunder. And The Grid, which is an interesting multiplayer first-person shooter, or third-person shooter in this case. A legacy worth preserving, talking about some of the efforts to hang on to the history of the company. So, if you're into your arcade history like me, want to know more about the games industry, this is a fascinating read. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Nearly 400 pages. Definitely worth adding to your retro shelf. So stay tuned to the channel for more merch stand, unboxing, gameplay and retro shelf videos. Keep it retro.